Welcome to the Douglas video, starring the infamous Butterman. We'll take you through Douglas's television career from his very first appearance to the present day. Douglas was created by Peter Lord at Aardman Animations, the same people who recently produced Wallace and Gromit. Peter explains.
Well, Douglas is kind of like the descendant of Morph. We did Morph for children's TV for a long time, and Morph is this little plasticine guy that starts in a lump of clay and pops out and appears to live. And working with the agency, we had the same idea to do the same thing with butter. So we start with a block of Lurpak, and it changes shape, and out pops Douglas. And in the same way that when Morph started, he had no character, so it was with Douglas. He was just a little chap that popped up and sang. But over the course of the commercials, he's acquired a life and an identity and a name, and become the character that we know and love today.
If your butter tastes much saltier than Galway Bay, then don't dismay, everything's okay. Spread a little creaminess the Lurpak way. The taste of Lurpak butter is the uppermost. Ask any decent host, it's the cream he'll boast. Spread a little creaminess upon your toast.
Lurpak with creamy taste.
Well, to start with, he was defined by what he was doing and what he was singing. So the first 3 commercials were all just done to songs, and that made him like a kind of he was a stage performer, a show-off. The next time he appeared, he had to go on his toast hang glider here, this rather stale-sounding resin toast, and he flew around singing, "Lurpak's taste is delicate, here's why that is true."
Lurpak's not a yellow butter, it's a lighter hue.
A wonderful old rock and roll song, of which the original point was every boy needs to have an automobile. In this case, it was lighten up and spread that Lurpak taste.
If you ain't tried it, you better join the queue. Use your loaf, go and spread. Some Lurpak taste, lighten up, go and spread. Some Lurpak taste. Lurpak.
Well, the leader of Lurpak was sort of a gem, a gift, it seemed to me, because the words fitted so nicely to leader of the pack. And so he was a bit of a rocker, a bit of a sort of Marlon Brando in Wild One kind of figure. This bike is hard again, because of course if you've got a soft figure sitting on a soft bike, it would literally collapse under him. For this film, we used fake food, because animation is an extremely long, slow process, and if he had driven along real sweet corn, over the course of the hours it took to do that shot, the sweet corn would have dried out, wilted, shrunk, and generally looked terrible.
I met him at the grocery store. He looked pretty creamy. Get the picture? Yes, we see. That's when I knew that our leader was Lurpak. I'd heard he was tasty, and it was so true. He was so creamy, he practically moved. He was so creamy that he practically moved. Breakfast, dinner, lunch, and tea. Beside me and my cutlery. He is so creamy, our leader is Lurpak.
Well, in the 1992 Olympics in Barcelona, Lurpak decided to do this promotional thing, and they were giving away these gold coins to celebrate the Olympics. Douglas in this one got the chance to perform all kinds of sports which he wouldn't otherwise have taken part in.
And there's another Lurpak Olympic gold winning score.
Douglas was rapidly becoming like a real person, I think, and which was obvious because he started to get fan mail. So people started to believe in him, and somehow it seemed appropriate, and it seemed like fun to give him a real sense of history. So we had him looking back over an imagined past. In fact, I have him here. This is Douglas on a bearskin rug as a baby, and this is him as a bratty schoolboy. After that, we see him briefly as a terrible slobby student, Douglas, which is this character here. And then there was the modern kitchen to sort of top and tail the whole thing in the present day.
That night, I found something that brought back a few memories. There I was, just a knob of butter, knee-high to a Brussels sprout. I went on to university, where I really got into Whole Foods. We were the best, the cream, the future. It was there I developed a taste for sport. I knew I had it in me. Oh yes, I was definitely a natural.
Well, when Penelope Keith joined the team, it was great for me because it was like having a double act. And you know, in comedy and TV generally, double acts work terribly well. And so it gave Douglas someone to react to, which actually makes life easier. And Penelope Keith was there to represent this kind of idealised version of Lurpak as a very, very sophisticated food.
Some things are worth paying a little more for.
It starts to be as if we were trying to do a dead serious, glorious food commercial with beautiful pictures of the product the whole time, everything exquisite and tasteful, lovely music, and then his usual, impetuous self basically interfering, or in fact not interfering, trying to help out, because he thinks, evidently, that this commercial is rather dull, and he can make it more fun by performing with his trombone or whatever it is. At that time, we started to use real food. We went through a technical change, which enabled us to shoot real food and keep it looking perfect as well, and then shoot the animation separately and marry the two things together so that the little animated Douglas actually appears to walk around amongst real food.
Some things are worth paying a little more for, like Lurpak butter. Made from a delicious blend of the finest creams, only Lurpak has that fresh, smooth, sophisticated... I said sophisticated. You'll get it back after the commercial, Douglas. Oh, pure creamy Lurpak. It's a matter of taste.
Well, I see him as developing very much more as a personality. Early on, he was just a performer, sort of doing whatever he had to do. Now, we really start to know him as an individual, I think. And he starts to play up to the camera and be very aware of that. And so there's this one where he doesn't want to deliver a line, and Penelope Keith literally shoves him into shot and says sort of, get on with it, do as you're told. And he delivers his little speech to camera, the lines he's learnt, obviously. And he says it in a very artificial voice. He kind of goes,
Lurpak butter is made from a delicious blend of the finest creams.
That's more like it.
In Asleep, the joke was that Penelope Keith was trying to sort of sneak in an ad while Douglas was asleep. So she thought she tries to whisper, in fact, so that he's not woken up, so she can get through a nice, proper, sensible commercial for Lurpak without being interrupted by this buffoon with a trombone.
As any culinary connoisseur will tell you, no other butter tastes quite like Lurpak. Pure, creamy Lurpak is made from a delicious blend of the finest creams. Lurpak. It's a matter of taste. 1, 2, 3, 4.
I mean, one of the things I like about him is that he absolutely doesn't give up. He's working with Penelope Keith, who's obviously big and tough and dominant and a bit of a bully, but he's not going to give up. He keeps dashing back, determined to play his little tune and be a star. And there's this great scene in the Christmas one we've done, which kind of, for me, sums him up beautifully. And I'll leave you with that.
Oh, go on then, as it's Christmas.
I heard it was tasty and it was so true. He was so crazy.
Well, that's the story so far. We hope you'll continue to enjoy watching Douglas in the future. And don't forget, there's enough room on the end of this tape for you to record Douglas's next few appearances. So keep an eye out.